Off my lovely costume. Right, I've got to do my normal intro here, but never mind. I'm repurposing some prosthetics, as you can see there, and I'm just taking some Prosaide and a damp cotton bud to stick on the repurposed prosthetics, which is from a video I have not yet put on, so that will be coming eventually, some point soon. So just putting some prosthetic adhesive on both the prosthetic itself and onto my skin, drying it until it's tacky, and then applying the prosthetic onto my skin, and then using a damp cotton bud just to smooth down all the edges. If you try and smooth it down with a dry cotton bud or your finger, it can stick a little bit, so this just helps it not to stick while you're gluing it down. And then just putting some extra glue on any edges that aren't properly stuck down. Make sure you need with with Prosaide, you do need to make sure you dry it until it's tacky before you can actually stick it down. If you try and stick it down before this, it just will not stick. And I'm taking some liquid latex on a sponge and just stippling that around the edge of the prosthetic just to blend the edges a little bit more into the skin. A couple of layers of that. Now, obviously you don't need to do this step if you don't want to. You can just create areas of decay with some cotton wool and some latex, which I will be showing you how to do this later on in the video, but I just happen to have these, so I thought I'd utilise them. And I'm just sticking some tissue around the edge with some latex just to hide some of the thicker edges. I actually did this for the Rob Dyke competition, which you can still see the entry on my channel if you've not seen it. This was the zombie from the Halloween Monsters Are for Halloween. Sorry, Monsters Are for Life, not just for Halloween. You can tell I'm tired, can't you? Now I'm just sticking on some pre-made teeth. I made these just with some oven baked clay and painted them with acrylic paints, so pretty easy to make. And I'm just sticking these on with some Prosaide to create a false sort of gum line, and then just going over this with a little bit of latex just to make sure they're properly stuck down. And now just taking some sculpting and tools and also some nail tools, and I'm applying a little bit of torn toilet roll. Very glam, I know. Torn toilet roll just over the top of the teeth. And this is just to make a fake gum line. So I'm just applying that with a little bit of latex, and then I'm going to use the rounded nail tool just to kind of sculpt the sort of the gum shapes in. I think you can probably see what I'm doing there more or less. So yeah, so it's quite malleable while the latex is still wet, so you can just sort of sculpt those into the shape of the teeth. And then I'm just making myself a Yosemite Sam moustache. Only joking. I'm making kind of the fake sort of lip, if you like. So basically this zombie is decaying, and he's all decaying away. She, I should say, she is all decaying away. So yeah, that's the bit I'm creating now. Now just using that same curved edge nail tool that I used before, just to smooth down the edges of the latex soaked cotton wool and just to sculpt that sort of lip area. Make sure you apply lots of latex around the edge just to blend it into the skin as much as possible. And you need to sort of sculpt almost like a sort of a sharp edge, almost like this skin has actually rotted away. So I think you can just about see that. Now I'm just drying that off with a hairdryer. Now I'm creating those areas of decay, like I said earlier. The first way I'm doing this is just with some patches of just latex on its own. Build up the patches with about 2 or 3 layers, drying each one in between, and you will see what I will do with those in a short while. Now the other way of making these areas of decay, which you will see me doing here now, is to put very thin wisps of cotton wool onto latex, and then just put a little bit of latex on top, and this just creates some sort of raised areas of decay as well. So this is an alternative to the prosthetics if you don't have any prosthetic pieces like I've used. Now you can see what I'm doing with those areas of just latex alone, and I'm using that curved edge tool again, and I'm just kind of picking holes in the latex. You can see that there, look. Make sure you use a curved edge tool so that you don't harm your skin. So you just want to basically lift the latex, be very gentle with this, and just like I say, make holes in the latex. Doing the same on my arm there. And then just taking some brushes and some grey shadows and just using this to create very, very dark circles. First of all, you can use cream paint or grease paint for this too, but the shadows just give a slightly more natural effect because there's a slight translucency to them and they look a bit more natural. Now I'm just using a fluffy brush to pat on areas of grey, again just to make the skin look decayed. So there's like areas of black decay on the skin, or grey decay in this case. So doing that on my chest, arms, face, neck, and just blending with a sponge. You can do this as much as you want, build it up as much as you want. The world is your zombie oyster. And now I'm taking some red water-based paint and just painting inside those holes I created earlier on the areas of decay. I'm just going in with a slightly darker colour on those areas of decay, and now a nice yellowy, gooey, decayed tone around that rotted away mouth. Lovely, how pretty. And then I'm just taking a light pink colour and just painting in the gums. So I want them to look sort of slightly anemic and a bit rotten like the rest of the zombie. So I'm just painting them really pale pink and then going in with a light brown shade and just shading in between the gums just to sort of show the shape of those gums a little bit more. Now you can really go to town with this, and you can use whatever colours you want on your zombie really. I mean, I've gone for quite realistic shades, so I'm just using a very dark brown shade just under that sort of mouth flap bit there, just to make it again look really rotten. But you can use any shades you want. You can use greens, you can use blues, greys and browns like I'm using. A lot depends really on the level of decay of your zombie, so if you feel brave enough, do a little bit of research online. You could even sort of go to town and do a really sort of neon zombie, like sort of Glam and Gore style zombie. If you haven't checked out Glam and Gore, check her out, she's brilliant. She does a lot of neon zombies, so you could do something like that if you prefer. Now I'm just setting the whole lot with some white baby powder. This also has the added benefit of just sort of muting everything and sort of moulding everything together. And then I'm just refining really, so just going in with a few darker shades here and there and some more areas of decay, a little bit of black around the chin to make that look really mouldy and manky, and then doing something which I tend to do quite a lot and you may have seen me doing on other videos, and that is going over with some skin tone just to kind of melt those colours into the skin and make it all look a little bit more realistic and actually within the skin rather than just sitting on top, and then going over with some goth white just to make some areas even lighter. Now I'm taking a very fine artist brush and just painting a little bit of decay on the top of the teeth with some dark brown water-based paint. Nice, I think I need to go and see a dentist. Pretty. I'm just painting over my lips, making sure everything is covered and that there's no sort of normal skin area showing through. A little bit more refining. And now what I'm doing, I wanted one of the eyes to have sort of a pulled down effect, so I'm taking some rigid collodion, which is like a scar making material, and I'm just painting some on my cheek and pulling down the cheek as I do so. And when this dries it will contract, which will kind of pull the eye down. I've applied about 3 layers of the liquid collodion and dried each in between. And now I'm just applying some thick blood around the mouth and on the teeth. And just to pull that eye down even further, I'm taking some surgical tape and just sticking that on and pulling the eye down. You can see that's really working well now. And then I'm going over going over that with liquid latex. I do apologise for my lack of the English language today. And then after I put some latex over to seal that, I'm just going over with some cotton wool just to hide that tape. Drying that off, putting a little bit more cotton wool on and some latex, drying that off again. And then I'm just doing a little bit more painting on those chest prosthetic pieces, and I've also painted in the piece on the face, as you can see. Now I'm just putting some conditioner through my hair to make it look all manky and zombified, and finally some glycerin, which is what I'm using to make the mouth look all wet and nasty. Oh, and finally some black nails. This is the finished zombie look. Ooh, glycerin in my mouth. Surgical tape on the eye works pretty well, especially when you tilt your head up because it pulls the eye down even more. You can see I've got some areas of decay on my chest as well. Probably not the most comfortable thing to have for a long period of time, so it's better for still photographs or short films. Zombie.